What do I think about it so far? I think every episode it definitely is shot well because it keeps you it keeps you locked in. Like there's a slow build in the beginning of the episodes. It kind of like brings you in slowly. This is each episode, by the way. It kind of brings you in slowly, like like you're getting ready to run. You're just doing a nice little speed walk. And then as the episode breaks down, it starts to speed up, and then you start to catch pace. Yeet. What's going on, y'all? If it's your first time, I am the host, Chance, 1/5 of the GeekedOut Podcast. However, this is not that. This, as you can see, is a new spinoff called Geeked Out Binge. Now, it's self-explanatory, and obviously you can see with the thumbnail and the title what it's about. But just to give you context, basically, this is for if anyone in our crew either goes back and watch a show that they never did. Like, for instance, I'm still watching Sopranos. I know, shoot me, but still watching it. But for instance, I'll eventually come on and tell you what I think about it. Or if there's something present that either the gang's watching or we tell someone, hey, you should watch that. And, they decide to watch it, then they'll discuss it. Like, for instance, I'm watching Outer Banks now, which obviously you can tell because, again, the title. But you'll either get me sometimes solo, you might get me with Rook, you might get me and Jess, you might get Jess and Rook, or you might get totally brand new people. You never know, which is why you should tune in and stay hooked. So, if this is your first time hearing us on YouTube, please hit the subscribe. If it's your first time on Apple, Spotify, iHeart, or wherever you get your audio platforms, please hit that follow, leave a review, and go check out other um, or our main Geeked Out podcast because we record every Sunday and episodes are usually Monday, Wednesdays. But with that being said, that long intro, we do have merch as well. Sorry, we do have merch. But with that being said, let's get into why we're here. So far, I have binge watched one season of Outer Banks. Supposedly, from what I've heard, this was the show that made everybody want to skip school, all of a sudden get a boat, and go treasure hunting. So, what is Outer Banks? From what I can pretty much gather in this first season, it's pretty much a group of friends that are like, what do they call? They call themselves the Pogues. It kind of reminds me of a movie a long time ago, Outsiders, where there was the what was it, the Soch and was it the Greasers they called them? But anyway, there was two different there was the rich side and the poor side. So this is basically the Pogues to the poor side, and then you have the Kooks. The Kooks are the rich people, the ones that got money. So it's usually always like the poops versus I mean the pogues versus the kooks. But it all pretty much, how does it kind of start off? It starts off, I guess, with the main lead, John B. Um, he's pretty much by himself. I think he's like 16 in the show. He's by himself. His dad, no one knows what happened. And this will be spoilers too. So if I eventually say something and you haven't seen it yet, which I'm pretty sure you have, then please come back later. But at this particular moment, we don't really know what happened to his dad, but he's missing. So supposedly his uncle was supposed to be watching him, and he's not. So he's just basically living there alone with his friends. And his friends is another troubled kid, JJ, who definitely fits all the stereotypes. We have Pope, um, very smart. He's pretty much the brains of the whole crew. And then we have Kiara. And Kiara is funny because it's kind of like she's that girl in the crew that's your bestie, but everybody secretly has a crush on. But everyone knows we don't Mac friends. But that's kind of how it starts. So you just basically see, you know, there John B is pretty much trying to find out what happened to his dad, basically this whole time. Like, and it turns out eventually that it's supposed to be this wild treasure hunt. Supposedly his dad was really deep into this treasure with this boat that had treasure on it and had sunk into the bottom of the Outer Banks, and it just went missing. No one's ever found it because supposedly everyone died on the ship. So his dad was deep into trying to find out where it was, if it's true, was there really treasure, and trying to do all that. Along the way of season one, I mean, you get everything that's typical. You get Sarah, and she's a kook. She's dating this one boy, like a little jock, one of those. And then, you get the drama of, oh, does she like this boy over here, one of the pogues? The typical good girl on the other side falling for the bad boy. So we get that. We get fights here and there between um, Pope, JJ, Rife, which is Sarah's brother, is Topher, I think, which is Sarah's boyfriend at the time. And you get them. So it's just basically high school kid stuff. We've all been there. Um, what do I think about it so far? I think every episode, it definitely is shot well because it keeps you it keeps you locked in. Like there's a slow build in the beginning of the episodes. It kind of like brings you in slowly. This is each episode, by the way. It kind of brings you in slowly, like like you're getting ready to run. You're just doing a nice little speed walk. And then as the episode breaks down, it starts to speed up, and then you start to catch pace, and then you're left on the cliffhanger, and then you wait to the next episode, which did its thing for me because it's like, oh shit, I gotta watch another one. I gotta see what's happening. So I will say they locked me in. Now at the end of this season, I'm not. How do I say this? Basically, you find out as the seasons go on. I mean, as the episodes go on, you pretty much continue to find more of the story of what happened, and you see that John B isn't tripping. Like he actually does have there is sense to what he thinks, and fast forward because, like I said, I don't want to keep y'all here that long. Um, we do find out that there is treasure indeed. They find it, which is John B with the Pogues. They find it, which is the crew, John B and his crew. I'm not gonna say their name all the time, but they find it. Obviously, there's drama. They can't get it right away. But long and behold, we find out that now, since John B is in a relationship with Sarah, we find out that Sarah's dad actually knew John B's father. And then they were doing business together. And when they were doing business together, they did discover that it was real. They were talking splits. And when the splits came up, then we see that, how all greedy stories end. Stuff happens, there's a scuffle, and someone dies. So we know who basically ended up taking that fall, which is John B's dad. Um, Sarah's dad pretty much shoves him off the boat, like whatever. I'm on my way, and covers it up. Doesn't say anything ever since. But we find this out because obviously through flashbacks and storytelling, and there are witnesses. Sarah's dad, who I can't remember for the life of me, Ward, Ward, basically had another friend in that situation, and he ends up killing him as well. And the wife just never says anything out of being scared. But John approaches and says, "Yo, look, I know what's happening. I know what happened. Like, clue me in. Like, make sure that I'm not telling, like, I'm not crazy." And she basically confirms, like, yes, it's true. So then we have this reveal. John goes crazy. He tells Sarah. Sarah doesn't believe him, but she doesn't not believe him. So they're going through this thing, and then the dad gets involved because now he knows. So now he's trying to turn everybody against John B. Now, while all this is happening, the father tells, well, before all this happened, sorry, I jumped the gun. Before all this happened, and John B knows this, is because the father takes John B on the boat trip to tell him, like, hey, he disguises as basically like he's being good, like a good father-in-law. and wants to take him fishing, but he basically ends up getting drinking and getting him to drink a little bit and say, "Look, I know you found the gold. Like, let's do it together." And then he's like, "Nah, I don't know what you're talking about." And he's like, "All right, so you're gonna play that game?" And he tells him all these things, but then he slips up and he tells him this word, Reddington, which is something that only John B's father knows because John B's father left it for him to find out. So he's like, "Well, how do you know that? No one knows that but me and my dad." So then that's when he finds out that pretty much Ward killed his dad. So, like I said, so fast forward back to that. So then, while all that chaos is going, Ward finally puts it together where the gold is, where the kids found it, and he pretty much buys the property, clears the shit out, and is getting ready to transport to the Bahamas. He takes Sarah with him, I guess, to get away from John or just get away from the cops so the cops don't hear the story. Um, but when this happens, and again, this is spoilers, the cop that I forgot her name. Oh, it's gonna eat me up. I forgot her name, but the cop that's kind of been on John B side that she just wants him to stay out of trouble. She kind of, looks out for him a little bit. She gets there and she sees everything that's happening. She's like, no, I know what happened. And she goes to arrest Ward. But while she goes to arrest Ward, Rife, which is Sarah's brother and Ward's son, his dad's just been shitty to him this whole thing because Rife just be fucking up. So basically, I guess his redemption, he feels, if I save my dad, he'll love me again. And he shoots the cop, and she dies. Now, you think it's you think it's over right now, but it's not. Because then basically what Ward does is he sets up John B. He gets rid of well, he calls one of the cops, which I guess would be the new sheriff now, and he calls and says, "Hey, this is what happened. John B shot the cop. Like, come help me. Like, let's get her to the hospital." But he clearly caught way late when she's gone. Like, there's no bringing her back, but just to make it look good, like he just found it or it just happened, and he's trying to do the right thing. But cop gets there, the cop is all in his feels because obviously that was his partner. So he's trying really hard to bring her back. And he's like, what happened? And he said, John B did it. And he's just like, all right, we're gonna get this kid. Like, I'm gonna make it my mission. The FBI comes, like it's big. Everything, all the fireworks is here. So it's like a super manhunt going on right now. So during all this time, basically, the Pogues they say, all right, cool, we're gonna get you a boat from JJ's dad, who's a drunk and just always passed out and so just always up to no good. But he's got a boat locked up in one of the storages or whatever. So it's like, we're gonna get you a boat. You could just take this and go as far as you can and come back when everything's settled down or whatever. John thinks he's going with Sarah because they're going together, but they get split up somewhere. So he's like, all right, cool. I guess Sarah ain't coming. He's all emotional in his feelings. He tells his friends goodbye. Thanks for everything. Sorry for putting him through all this. And I'm on my way. So he goes, he leaves, but maybe 20, 30 minutes, well, 20 minutes into the boat ride, you see Sarah meets him somewhere. And he's like, oh shit, how'd you get here? And she's like, I wouldn't let you leave without saying goodbye to me. She gets on the boat, they go together. But in the midst of doing all this, there is a tropical storm that's supposed to hit the Outer Banks. And the police are trying to warn him, like, hey, don't do this, like, don't go. Ward even gets on the police intercom and says, if you love my daughter, please just bring her back. Like, don't do this. Like, think about her. Which then John B gets on the horn and he says, everything. You killed my dad. You took my gold. You took everything from me. And you tried to frame me. I will be back. And when I'm back, I'm coming for you. Mind you, he has like a little chunk of gold, which at one point they tried to sell earlier, and I think they could have got like 70,000 for it, but it's worth a lot more. So he does have a chunk of gold with him as he's leaving. So they're headed in the storm. Um, the cop looks at Ward and says, "Stay put. We got some questions for you," which obviously makes sense because with this semi-confession, um, you see the storm, you see it hit, the boat flips over. You don't know what happens to them. They appear to be gone. The cop comes back, tells his friends, "Hey, look, we think we lost them. We can't find them. We can't find any signs of the boat. Can't find signs of them. We don't know what's happening. So they're probably gone. It's a storm. We're like, what do you think is gonna happen?" Gets an emotional scene, you start crying. I ain't gonna lie, like I felt a little misty a little bit too, but I don't know why, because I know that they're gonna be alive. But it gets you good writing and great acting because it got me. But again, like I said, they are alive. You see it. It's on like some Titanic shit, but they're on separate parts of the. It's weird, but they're alive. I don't know how they would be alive, but again, it's a show. But they're alive. You knew it. They feel like they're gonna die though because there's basically nothing there, and then they see a boat way, way into the distance, and they start screaming and shouting and flashing the gold in the sunlight to like kind of get their reflection going on. And again, I know it's a TV show. I don't know how they would ever saw that, but they did. The crew comes, they rescue them, and they say, "Hey, you're lucky we're here because if we weren't, it'd be over for you. But just let us know where you're trying to go, and we got you." And then John B says, "Where y'all going?" And he says, "Nassau." And then they discuss the fact that they have gold between him and Sarah. They smile, and then the end of season one. Um, I am intrigued. It does have me, like I said. The way it's shot does get me. I'm curious to see if season two is the same way. But like I said, it draws you in slowly, so you're like, okay, cool, I'll watch this. This is pretty good so far. And then it speeds up, the action goes, and then you're invested, like, oh shit, I gotta finish it. And then when you finish that episode, like, oh shit, I gotta see what happens next. So I am invested. Season one was pretty good. So far, I would tell you to watch it. I'm gonna not say all the way because obviously this is the Binge series. I'm trying to get to, I think there's four seasons, and I've heard some bad stuff towards the end, like all pretty much all TV shows, but I haven't got there yet. I haven't did the spoilers to find out what happens. But I will tell you in the next episode, not the next episode, but the next episode of season two that I do, if I'm still hooked. But as of now, I do say you should probably pick it up. It is a good watch. It is it, it's intriguing. The squad told me to watch it, and I would say as of right now, they are kind of right. It is a show that I would watch. So far I'm here. But if you've seen it without all the spoilers, please leave a comment and just tell me what you thought about it. Thought about the season or thought about the seasons. And spoiler free though, because you don't want to spoil it for somebody in the comments. But just let me know if you've actually checked it out. But with that being said, I do hope you continue to listen to this Geeked Out Bin series as along with the other podcasts. Make sure you follow us everywhere. And again, I won't be the only host, so it won't just only be me. 'Cause maybe you want to hear another voice. You will. So with that being said, I appreciate y'all. Geeked out.